Ramayana, Chapter 14, Wife or Demon, read by Nirvan Bajaj and Ikveer Bajaj. Chapter 14, Wife or Demon. Dashrath was thunderstruck. When his mind resumed its function, he doubted the reality of what had happened. Could it be other than a hideous dream, or the phantasmagoria of a disordered brain, or the sudden materialization of the sins of some past birth called up for my chastisement? I am certainly the victim of an illusion. I cannot believe this to be reality. Unable to stand the confused agony of shapeless terrors, he closed his eyes and became unconscious. Opening his eyes a little later, they fell on Keikei and he trembled like a stag at the sight of a tiger. He sat upon the floor and moaned, swaying helplessly this side and that like a cobra held by a spell of potent charm. Again he swooned. After a long interval, he recovered his senses and with eyes turned to his tormentor and inflamed with helpless anger, cried out, "O wicked ogress, destroyer of my dynasty, what harm has Ram done to you? Has he not looked upon you as his own mother? I thought you were a woman. I now see you as a venomous serpent brought from far away and cherished in my bosom only to sting me to death." Keikei was unmoved and spoke not a word. The king went on, "On what pretext can I banish Ram, whom all the people love and praise? I may lose Kaushalya and survive. I may lose the pure-minded Sumitra and survive. But if I lose Ram, I cannot live thereafter. Without water, without sunlight, I may live for a while, but never without Ram. Expel from your mind this sinful thought, with my head bowed at your feet, I beg of you. Have you not said many a time, 2 dear sons I have, and of them Ram, the elder, is dearer to me. In deciding to crown Ram, what have I done but carry out in action your unspoken wish? Why then do you demand these cruel boons? No, it cannot be really that you mean this. You're only testing me to find out that if I indeed love your son Bharat, do not, through a great sin, destroy our famous line of kings." Even then, Keikei spoke no word, but her eyes blazed scornful anger. The king continued, "Till this day you have done nothing to cause me sorrow, never spoken an unworthy word. Who has corrupted you now? I cannot believe that this evil thought is your own. How often have you told me, my dear, that noble as Bharat is, Ram is still noble? Ram is nobler still. Is it the same Ram that you now want to be sent to the forest? How can he dwell in the forest? How can you even entertain the thought of him going away into the wilderness infested by ferocious beasts? How lovingly has Ram treated you and served you? How can you forget all of this and steel your heart and utter the words, 'Send him to the forest'? What fault has he committed? Of the hundreds of women in the palace, has anyone ever uttered a word against his honor or virtue? The whole world loves him for his good and great qualities. How did you alone, among so many, find cause to dislike him? Is it not Ram like Indra himself? Is not his face radiant with goodness and spiritual light with the rishis? The whole world praises his truthfulness and friendliness, his learning and wisdom, his heroism and humility. No one has heard a harsh word from his lips. How can I? His father said to him, 'Son, go to the forest.' This can never be. Have mercy on me, an old man near the end of his days, Keikei. Ask for anything else in this kingdom. Ask for anything else and I will give it. With folded hands, I beg you, do not send him to Yama. Cling him to your feet. I beg you humbly, save Ram. Save me from sin." To the king, thus struggling in a sea of grief, pitiless Keikei spoke cruel words.
"King, if having promised the boon you regret it and will forsworn, what sort of king would you be? What right would you have to speak of Satya and Dharma? How can you face other kings? Will you shamelessly confess to them? Yes, Kekai saved me from that, and I gave her a promise. Later, I was sorry I gave it, and I broke it. What else could you tell them? All monarchs will shun you as a disgrace to their order, and common people will laugh and scorn at their rulers and say, kings break promises even when given to their queens. Do not expect kings to keep their words. Do you not know that Sabia, to redeem the pledge he gave to a bird, cut the very flesh of his bones and gave it away? Have you not heard of Alakar, who plucked his eyes out to keep his word? The sea stays within its limit and does not overflow the land because it feels bound by its agreement. Do not violate your solemn pledge. Follow the path of your royal ancestors. Oh, I fear that you and their unworthy descendants will forsake Dharma. You will crown Ram and you will dally with Kausalya. What do you care what happens to Dharma? What do you care what happens to Satya? If you deny me the gift you promise on an oath, I shall this very night drink poison and end my life. You may anoint and install Ram, but before your eyes, O promise breaker, I shall be dead. This is certain, and I swear it in the name of Bharat. It will be well and good if you fulfill your promise and banish Ram to the forest. Else I shall end my life.
And with this firm declaration, Kekai stopped. Dashrath stood speechless, staring at his pitiless wife. Was this lovely creation really Kekai or a demon? Then, like a huge tree felled by a forester with his axe, the king shook and toppled down and lay stretched, unconscious on the floor in pitiful ruin. Regaining his senses after a while, he spoke in a low voice. Kekai, who has corrupted your mind to see me dead and our race destroyed? What evil spirit has possessed you and makes you dance in this shameless fashion? Do you really think that Bharat will agree to be king after sending Ram to the forest? He never will, and you know it. Can I possibly bear to tell Ram to go to the forest? Will not the kings of the world despise me, saying this unaugural old dotard has banished his eldest son, the best of men? Don't you see that they would laugh at me? It is easy enough for you to say, send Ram away to the forest. But can Kausalya or I survive his departure? And have you thought of Janak's daughter? Would it not kill her to hear that Ram is to go away to the Dandak forest? Cheated by a face, I thought you a woman and took you for my wife. Like a deluded man, tempted by the flavor of poisoned wine, I was lured by your beauty into marrying you. Like a deer ensnared by a hunter. I am caught in the net. I am caught in your net and perish like a drunken Brahman in the streets. I shall be universally despised. What boons have you demanded? Boons that forever will taunt the fame of our dynasty with the ignominy of lustful dotage that drove an old fool to the banishment of a beloved and peerless son. If I tell Ram to go to the forest, yes, he will cheerfully obey and go to the forest. Myself and then Kausalya and Sumitra will die. How will you enjoy the kingdom thus secured, O sinful, foolish woman? And will Bharat agree to your plans? If he does agree, he shall not perform my obsequies. O shameless woman, my life's enemy, kill your husband and attain widowhood to enjoy the kingdom with your son. Oh, how sinful a woman and how pitiless. No, only this woman is cruel. Why should I insult other women? What a pity that my Bharat should have this monster for a mother. No, I can never do this, Kekai. I fall at your feet and beg you, have some pity on me. Kekai cut him short.
You are prattling vainly. Send at once for Ram. Let him come here. Tell him the kingdom is Bharat's and he should go to the forest. Keep your promise. Do not waste time.
Dashrath groaned. He was very sad. He said, very well. Let me at last set eyes on Ram's face. My death is near. Let Ram come. Let me see his face before I die. tied down by dharma, this whole fool is helpless. And again, he felt unconscious. Stay tuned for chapter 15, Behold a Wonder. Please subscribe to this channel, like, share and comment on this video. Thank you and namaste.